Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, better known as the 5-cent coin. But we're not just talking about any Jefferson nickel, we're talking about the ones with big value in the collector market. Buckle up, because these coins are worth more than you think. First up, we have something truly special for you, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1964 with D mint mark and in very fine condition. But what makes this coin even more intriguing is its dark brown shade. Could this unusual appearance increase its collector value in today's market? Let's explore. First, let's dive into the history behind the Jefferson nickel. Introduced in 1938, this iconic coin was designed by Felix Schlag and features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. With his home, Monticello, on the reverse, the 1964 issue marked a significant year in the minting of U.S. coins. It was during this time that the U.S. Mint ramped up nickel production due to a nationwide coin shortage. The D mint mark signifies that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Limited of these nickels were minted in 1964, making them relatively uncommon. However, certain variations and conditions, such as the one we're focusing on today, can make them quite valuable to collectors. So, what sets this particular 1964 with D Jefferson nickel apart from the rest? Let's break it down. Firstly, this coin is graded as being in very fine condition. In coin grading terms, a coin that's rated as very fine shows moderate wear, but most details of the design are still visible and crisp. This is an important factor when determining the coin's value in the collector market. Secondly, this coin has an unusual dark brown shade. While not a standard feature, this coloration may be a result of environmental exposure, toning, or possibly an interaction with the metal alloy over time. Coins with unique toning or unusual shades can sometimes catch the eye of collectors who are looking for something distinctive, especially if the patina enhances the coin's aesthetic appeal. Now, let's talk numbers. How much is this coin worth in today's market? In general, a typical 1964 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition might range between $450,000. However, for coins with unusual attributes, like the dark brown shade, the value can fluctuate based on the buyer's interest. Because collectors often place a premium on unique-looking coins, this 1964 with D Jefferson nickel, with its dark brown toning, could fetch a higher price than a standard nickel of the same condition. It's difficult to assign a precise value without knowing the full scope of the coin's appeal, but estimates suggest that coins with this kind of eye-catching toning could be valued between $500,000 in the right market. Of course, certain factors like the intensity of the shading, the overall eye appeal, and the presence of any additional unique features could push the value even higher, particularly among collectors who are drawn to unusual patinas. When evaluating a coin like this, it's important to take into consideration the overall condition beyond just the shade. Look at the sharpness of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's details. Are there any scratches, dings, or signs of damage? All of these factors will contribute to the final market value. For those of you who are looking to sell, be sure to have your coin appraised by a professional, particularly if you believe its unusual shade could increase its worth. And if you're a collector looking to add a 1964 with D Jefferson nickel to your collection, keep an eye out for those coins with unique features. You never know when you might come across something truly special. As time goes on, coins like the 1964 with D Jefferson nickel will likely continue to gain interest, especially as more collectors seek out those with distinct appearances and patinas. While the standard issue may be uncommon, these coins are pieces of history, and every unique feature tells a story. The market for toned coins is growing, and many collectors see them as not just currency, but art. If you have one of these coins, or are looking to acquire one, now is a great time to dive into the market. Next up, we're diving deep into an iconic coin from U.S. history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1986 version with the D mint mark. This coin, in very fine condition, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and hobbyists alike. But why? What makes this particular coin so interesting, and how valuable is it in today's collector market? Let's take a closer look. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse side. Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, remains one of the most revered figures in American history. His legacy is cemented in this coin, making it a significant piece for history buffs and numismatists alike. Now, let's talk about the specific variant we're focusing on today, the 1986 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. What does that D stand for? It represents the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's production facilities. Coins produced in Denver are identified by this D mint mark, located to the right of Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. Denver is known for producing high-quality circulation coins, which makes the mint mark a key identifier for collectors trying to distinguish between coins produced at different mints. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. We're focusing on a 1986 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition. What does very fine mean in the coin grading world? A coin graded as very fine typically shows moderate wear on the highest points of the design but retains much of its original detail. For the Jefferson nickel, this would mean Jefferson's facial features are still visible, but you might notice some wear around his hair, cheekbones, and jawline. The Monticello building on the reverse is still identifiable. Though there may be some flattening of the pillars or dome, the overall luster might be diminished, but the coin's details are still clearly distinguishable. While a very fine coin may not be in mint or near perfect condition, it still retains a great deal of historical and collectible appeal. Why is the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel particularly sought after? For one, coins from the 1980s are becoming increasingly popular as they age. While not quite vintage, they are beginning to cross that threshold from being everyday currency to becoming part of the collectible coin market. One key reason collectors focus on these coins is due to their condition and rarity in higher grades. Even though limited of 1986 with D nickels were minted, finding one in a well-preserved state like very fine or better can be a bit more challenging. The circulation wear and tear over decades means fewer of these coins remain in top condition, which in turn drives demand among collectors. Now, the big question, what is the value of a 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition today? As of now, the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel typically holds a collector value ranging between $350,000 in very fine condition. This might seem highest. However, the exact value can vary depending on factors such as the demand among collectors. Coins from this era can fluctuate in value as they gain more interest from numismatists who seek out well-preserved coins for their collections. Any unique characteristics or errors? Some nickels from this period might contain minting errors or variations which can increase their desirability and price. While the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition may not have sky-high value today, it holds potential for future growth. As more collectors seek to complete their sets of Jefferson nickels from the 1980s, and as fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value could gradually rise. If you're a collector looking to invest, holding on to well-preserved examples of the Jefferson nickel might be a smart move. In time, even coins from the 1980s, like this 1986 with D variant, could see notable increases in value. If you're lucky enough to have a 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition, you'll want to preserve its quality to maintain or even increase its value. Here are some quick tips for taking care of your coins. Store in a protective holder. Use a coin holder or flip to prevent further wear and protect against dirt and oils from your hands. Avoid cleaning your coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and diminish the coin's value. Keep in a controlled environment. Store your coins in a cool, dry place away from humidity or extreme temperatures. By taking these precautions, you can ensure that your coin stays in the best condition possible, which is crucial for maximizing its value. And there you have it, the story of the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition. While it may be the rarest or most valuable coin in today's market, it holds its place as an interesting piece of U.S. coinage history and has the potential for future appreciation in value. If you're a collector or just a fan of history, the Jefferson nickel offers a fascinating glimpse into the past, and owning one from 1986 with the D mint mark is like holding a little piece of that history in your hands. Next up, we've got something special for you, the 1974 Monticello Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this coin holds a significant place in U.S. coinage history, and we're about to explore why. We'll also look into its market value in today's collector's market. So, let's get started. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the nickel features an image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his famous Monticello home on the reverse. Jefferson, as you know, was the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia plantation. Over the years, this design has remained mostly unchanged, which adds to the nostalgic appeal for collectors. Now, let's fast forward to 1974. This particular year saw limited of Jefferson nickels struck at the Philadelphia Mint. When a U.S. coin lacks a mint mark, it typically indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't traditionally use a mint mark until later years. The 1974 nickel without a mint mark is quite uncommon, but its condition greatly influences its value in the collector's market. Today, we're specifically looking at a fine condition example of this coin. Coin grading is crucial when determining a coin's value. A coin in fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains most of the major details. For the 1974 Jefferson nickel, this means you'll notice some wear on Jefferson's face and Monticello's finer details, but the coin remains fully recognizable and aesthetically pleasing. In fine condition, the lines on Monticello may be a bit smooth, and Jefferson's cheek and jawline will show significant signs of wear, but overall, it's still a great addition to any collection. Now, let's talk about value. In today's market, the value of a 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition can vary based on demand and the platform you're using to buy or sell. Generally speaking, you can expect this coin to fetch around $200,000. Why should you consider collecting the 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark? Well, even though it's a high-value coin, it's an important piece of U.S. history. The Jefferson nickel is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, and its association with one of America's founding fathers adds to its appeal. For beginner collectors, this coin offers an affordable and accessible way to start building a collection of historical U.S. currency. It's also a great coin to use for teaching kids about coin collecting and American history. As you build your collection, you can search for higher-grade examples or even aim to complete a set of Jefferson nickels from various years and mints. In conclusion, while the 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may be the most valuable coin in your collection, it certainly has its place in the world of numismatics. Its historical significance, combined with its hard affordability, makes it an excellent coin for collectors of all levels. If you're on the hunt for one of these coins, or if you already have one in your collection, now you know more about its history and value. Next up, we're focusing on a piece of American history that might just be sitting in your collection or even in your pocket. Change the Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically from the year 1962, with the D mint mark. This iconic 5-cent coin, minted in Denver in 1962, may look like an ordinary nickel to most people, but for us collectors, it holds more than just face value. And if your coin happens to be in very fine condition and exhibits a unique black shade, it might just be worth more than you think. So let's take a closer look at this vintage nickel and explore its collector value in today's market. To start, let's dive into the history of the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Felix Schlag was the designer, and his portrayal of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side of the coin has remained a staple in U.S. currency for decades. The reverse side features Jefferson's home, Monticello, a beautiful architectural landmark located in Charlottesville, Virginia. The 1962 Jefferson nickel was minted during a time of economic growth in the United States, with limited nickels produced that year. However, what makes this particular nickel stand out is its D mint mark, indicating it was minted in Denver. While the 1962 Jefferson nickel is particularly rare in the world of coin collecting, specific variations, such as the condition and any unique features, can significantly impact its value. One of those features in this case is the distinct black shade, which could have resulted from environmental exposure or a chemical reaction over time. So what does it mean when we say this coin is in very fine condition? A coin in very fine condition shows some wear but retains most of the details, especially on the high points. For the 1962 Jefferson nickel, this means Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline will show some slight flattening, while the Monticello on the reverse will still have most of its architectural details intact. Coins in higher grades, such as extremely fine or mint state, are naturally more valuable. However, very fine coins like this one still hold value, particularly to collectors looking for well-preserved pieces from a specific mint year. Now, let's get into the part everyone is curious about: the market value of a 1962 Jefferson nickel with the Denver D mint mark in today's coin market. If you have a Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1962 in very fine condition, it's generally worth between $250,000. Yes, that's more than face value, but by much. However, if your nickel has some unique characteristics, like the black shade condition we're talking about today, that could make it more appealing to certain collectors. Collectors who are interested in coins with distinctive appearances may be willing to pay a large premium. It's also worth noting that while a single nickel might fetch a high price, building a collection of Jefferson nickels across different years, conditions, and mint marks can increase the overall value of your collection. In fact, complete sets of Jefferson nickels can be sold for $600,000 depending on the grades and conditions. If you happen to have one of these 1962 with D Jefferson nickels with a black shade in your possession, make sure to preserve it well. Store it in a cool, dry place, and consider using a coin holder or sleeve to prevent further damage. Coins with unusual colorations, like black shading, can degrade if exposed to the elements for too long. So, is a 1962 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D mint mark and black shading worth holding onto? Absolutely. While it may make you rich, it's still a fascinating piece of American history, and for the right collector, it could be a cherished addition to their collection. Plus, it's always exciting to have a coin with a unique story behind it. Next up, we're diving into the rich history and current market value of a specific coin, the 1953 Jefferson nickel, minted in Denver and marked with the famous D. This is a coin that has captured the interest of collectors, especially in very fine condition. So let's jump in and learn more about this incredible coin, its story, and its value in today's market. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features a portrait of the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, while his famous home, Monticello, appears on the reverse. But today, we're zooming in on a specific variation of this nickel, the 1953 with D, minted in Denver, Colorado. This nickel is part of the post-World War II period, a time when the U.S. Mint was trying to keep up with the demands of a growing economy. The 1953 Jefferson nickel is one of the more interesting dates for collectors, mainly because of the variation in quality from that year. Some coins were struck with soft details, while others came out exceptionally sharp. Coins from Denver are particularly noted for their slightly better strike quality compared to their Philadelphia counterparts. Let's take a closer look at the design of this coin. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by artist Felix Schlag. You'll notice the inscription "In God We Trust" on the left, and Liberty followed by the date 1953 on the right. The D mint mark is located right below the date, which tells us that this particular coin was minted in Denver. On the reverse, you'll find a detailed engraving of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia state. Surrounding it are the inscriptions E pluribus unum Monticello 5 cents and United States of America. Now, when we talk about a coin's condition, we often refer to its grade. For the 1953 with D Jefferson nickel, being in very fine VF condition means it has seen some circulation, but the wear is moderate. There will still be plenty of detail visible on Jefferson's hair and Monticello's architecture, though some areas may appear smoothed out due to use. In VF condition, the coin should retain some of its sharpness, particularly in the facial features and the lettering. However, you may notice wear on the highest points of the design, like Jefferson's cheekbone and Monticello's dome. If you're lucky enough to have a 1953 with D nickel in very fine condition, you've got a piece of history in your hands, one that still holds considerable appeal to collectors today. Now, onto the part we've all been waiting for: the current market value of the 1953 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition. As of today, the market value of this coin can vary based on several factors such as demand, rarity, and the overall state of the coin market. However, in very fine condition, you can typically expect a 1953 with D nickel to be valued at around $400,000. While it may seem like a lot, the value can increase significantly as the grade improves. The condition, as we discussed, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins with minimal wear will command higher prices. Rarity: while the 1953 with D nickel is considered extremely rare, coins from this year were often poorly struck, which makes finding high-grade examples more difficult. Demand: if demand for Jefferson nickels increases among collectors, the market value can also rise. It's also important to remember that prices can fluctuate based on the economy, changes in collector interest, and even the availability of coins at auctions or from private collectors. If you're looking to build a collection of Jefferson nickels, here are a few tips. Proper storage. Store your coins in a dry environment, ideally in coin holders or albums that protect them from the elements. Grading: learn the basics of grading, or consider getting your coins professionally graded if you believe they're of higher value. Research: keep an eye on market trends. Coin values can fluctuate, so being informed will help you know the best time to buy or sell. And there you have it, the fascinating world of the 1953 with D Jefferson nickel. While it may be the most expensive coin in your collection, it's certainly one with history and charm. It might bring, but also in the story it tells of mid-century America, the U.S. Mint, and one of our most famous founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. If you have one of these coins in your collection, take good care of it, and who knows, its value might just rise in the future. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the Philadelphia mint mark, or P mint mark. This coin is fascinating not only because of its design but also for its potential value in today's collector market. So, let's break it down. First, a little history. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since its introduction in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse or head side, and his home, Monticello, on the reverse side. Over the years, there have been several variations, but the 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel is one of those years that stands out to collectors. So let's talk about the 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. The P indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint produced limited Jefferson nickels. The true value of this coin is in its condition and rarity within the market today. Now, for those new to coin collecting, you might wonder why the condition of the coin matters so much. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to uncirculated. A coin in fine condition typically has moderate wear on the raised areas, but still retains a good amount of its original detail. For our 1981 P mint Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you can expect the coin's details to be visible, but worn down in certain areas such as Jefferson's hair and Monticello's architectural lines. This grading can greatly affect the coin's value. Alright, so what is this 1981 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in fine condition worth in today's collector market? While the coin is particularly rare, especially given the number minted, coins in better than average condition can still fetch a decent price. In fine condition, this particular nickel typically ranges in value from $120,000 depending on the market demand and where it's being sold. This might seem like a fortune, but given its commonality, it's a fun and affordable coin to add to your collection. Whether you're holding on to your 1981 Jefferson nickel or thinking about investing in one, proper care and storage are key to preserving its value. Always handle your coins by the edges to avoid oils from your skin causing damage. Store them in a coin album, a flip, or a capsule to keep them safe from moisture and scratches. A small investment in protection can go a long way in maintaining or even increasing your coin's value. The Jefferson nickel has undergone some design changes over the years, especially in the early 2000s. As the U.S. Mint continues to evolve its coin designs, older versions like the 1981 Jefferson nickel might become more desirable to collectors. While it may not be a rare find today, who knows what the future holds for this classic piece of American history. So there you have it. The 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark may be the most valuable coin in circulation. It's a fantastic and affordable piece for any collector. Its historical significance and potential for value growth make it a great addition to any collection. If you've got one of these nickels lying around, hold on to it. You never know what it might be worth in the years to come. Next up, explore a timeless piece of American coinage, the 1969 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition. What makes this coin stand out? What's its value in today's collector market? Stick around to find out. Alright, let's talk about the 1969 Monticello Jefferson nickel. This coin was minted over 50 years ago, and yet it still holds a place of importance among collectors today. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, featuring the iconic image of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous estate, Monticello, on the reverse. The design remains one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage history. But what makes the 1969 nickel so special, especially when there's no mint mark on it? The absence of a mint mark indicates that this particular coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as coins from Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark during that time. So why is this coin important for collectors today? The value of any coin is determined by a few key factors: rarity, condition, and demand in the collector market. And with the 1969 Jefferson nickel, these factors come into play in interesting ways. Firstly, let's talk about its condition. Our specific focus is on a 1969 nickel in fine condition. Now, in coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, and fine condition is somewhere in the middle. Fine condition coin shows moderate wear, but the major details like Jefferson's profile and the architecture of Monticello are still clear and easily recognizable. This condition makes it appealing for collectors who want a piece of history with breaking the bank. Now, let's dive into what you're all waiting for: the current market value of a 1969 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition in today's coin collector market. While this coin may be among the rarest in terms of mintage numbers as limited were produced, its value still holds steady due to demand from both seasoned collectors and those just starting their numismatic journey. Depending on the coin's exact condition, this nickel could be worth anywhere from $80,000 today. But here's the kicker: for those rare, perfectly preserved pieces, or nickels with unique minting errors, values can skyrocket. But if you've got a 1969 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition, you're likely looking at a value between $200,000, according to the latest coin collector guides. However, this doesn't diminish the coin's historical significance or its collectible appeal. Collectors today are increasingly interested in mid-century coins, especially those that have survived years of circulation in relatively good condition. If you're a collector, remember that building a collection is always about having the rarest or most valuable coins. It's about finding pieces that speak to you, that tell a story of our shared history, and that you can be proud of. The 1969 Monticello Jefferson nickel does just that. It carries with it the legacy of American coinage, and it remains an hard, affordable, yet fascinating piece for any collection. Coins like the 1969 Jefferson nickel are more than just money. They're snapshots of history, each one a small relic of the era it was created in. And as we continue to move forward, these pieces of the past only grow more precious. So whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or you're a seasoned pro, keep an eye out for these classic Jefferson nickels. Who knows, you might stumble upon a rare gem in your change, or even at a local coin show. And remember, coin collecting is about the passion for history and the thrill of the hunt. Next up, we're going to talk about a coin that many of you might have come across, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1977 with the D mint mark. This classic 5-cent coin, featuring the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson and his famous residence, Monticello, has long been a favorite of collectors and enthusiasts alike. First minted in 1938, The Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel and has been in circulation ever since. The design showcases Thomas Jefferson on the obverse of the coin and Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia. On the reverse, the coin was designed by Felix Schlag and continues to be an enduring symbol of American history. But what makes the 1977 with D. Jefferson nickel particularly interesting for collectors? Well, in 1977, the Denver Mint produced limited of these nickels, so they are particularly rare in terms of overall mintage. However, the condition and specific characteristics of the coin can make a significant difference in its value, and that's what we'll be focusing on today. Grading is crucial when it comes to determining a coin's value. The coin we're discussing today is in fine condition. In coin grading terms, a fine condition coin shows moderate wear, but many of the major design elements are still intact. On Dow. The 1977 with D. Jefferson nickel, this means that Jefferson's profile is still fairly detailed, although you might see some smoothing on the high points of his hair and face. Monticello will show some wear, but most of the building's features should still be visible. Now, let's talk about the current market value for this coin. In fine condition, the 1977 with D. Jefferson nickel is considered a high-dollar item, the value of uncommon date Jefferson nickels. Like the 1977 with D, typically ranges from $210,000 depending on the condition. For a coin in fine condition, that might sound like much. Let's not forget that the real value of coins often lies in building a collection, completing sets, or big investment. It's still an essential piece for any collector who wants to build a complete Jefferson nickel set. Completing a series of coins from every year and every mint can be incredibly rewarding, and even the more common dates like 1977 with D play a vital role in that journey. And let's not forget the history. 1977 was a memorable year in American history and pop culture. Star Wars was released, Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as the 39th President of the United States, and this coin is a small artifact from that era. Owning a 1977 with D. Jefferson nickel is like holding a piece of history in your hands. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1977 with D. Jefferson nickel is a great addition to any collection. Its value might be astronomical. It represents a piece of American history and a critical component of the Jefferson nickel series. Plus, who knows? Over time, as fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value might increase. Thanks for tuning in today. Remember, coin collecting is about finding that one rare coin that's worth money. It's about appreciating the history, the artistry, and the stories behind each piece of currency. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with fellow coin enthusiasts, and leave a comment below letting me know what coins you'd like to see covered next. And as always, happy collecting.